And good evening. This is the 10 p.m. update here on July 3rd, 2014, and we are talking Arthur tonight. Big Arthur. As we said last night, one thing we know about Arthur is he does what he pleases, and he pleases to get up to 100-mile-an-hour winds, as we were saying last night, as he was a meager little tropical storm. And yes, indeed, he has come up tremendously. He is a strong Category 2 and not too far away from a Category 3. I mean, just about where we expected him to be, and I'm pretty happy about that. Whether or not it makes it to a 3 or not, still up for grabs. It may fall just short, but the fact that it's pretty much in the wheelhouse, I'm happy. It's moving north-northeast at 15 miles an hour. And the difference between last night and tonight is they've actually, because the tracks have nudged west a little bit, they've actually put Cape Cod and the islands in as a tropical storm warning, as they'll have 40, 50, even 60-mile-an-hour winds as this thing comes by Friday night. Not to mention a lot of storm surge waves, high waves, and battering the south-facing beaches. New Jersey will get some too, but not as bad as Long Island, Rhode Island, and Cape Cod. So right now you got hurricane warnings up to the southern tip of the Delmarva and extreme southeast Virginia, up by Norfolk, and most of North Carolina, and you got a tropical storm watch at the bottom of North Carolina to the South Carolina border where the hurricane's already passed. I'll show you an interesting map. It's the Google Earth wind map, and we can see the tremendous force of the atmosphere here of Arthur, how it's all wrapped up, and you can see the wind flow. Now, like I was saying before about Arthur, the track is going to go just inside the barrier islands here. And Cape Hatteras, Cape Lookout, there's going to be a lot of problems here. And the reason being is if you look at this loop, you can see how the wind flow is. Traditionally, the northeast quadrant of the storm is the strongest. One of the reasons is because it's out over the water as a long fetch. There's no friction here. So it just pretty much allows the winds to pretty much, intensify at, a much better pace in this quadrant and in the southeast quadrant than, say, in the western quadrant, where the wind is coming across and then down the land, and there's all this friction, there's trees, there's hills. Not so many hills in eastern North Carolina, but there is topography. So basically this quadrant here and this quadrant here are where you get your worst winds. Now as this storm moves up into an area right about here, you're going to be getting this tremendous flow right in here, coming in, pounding the water into these barrier islands and flooding out into the Pamlico Sound here. Then as this thing center travels just past the tip of North Carolina, out past Cape Hatteras, this part of the storm here where the winds will swing around to the northwest will come, and all that water that gets blown in from the east side of the storm will get blown back out through the islands again. So these barrier islands are going to take a real good beating. Not a good place to be on vacation. You're going to have widespread power outages and damage, and it's not going to be, the roads are going to be closed. It's not going to be suitable for anything this weekend here. While back in here, even though it's pretty close to the storm, it's on the other side, there'll be scattered power outages and they'll get a good dose of rain tonight, but they're not going to get the damage over here because they'll be on the weaker side of the storm. You can see the wind flow here up into New York, where you got basically tropical feed coming all the way down from the Bahamas right up into New York City. That's why you noticed today when it cleared up for a while, even though it was a really humid day, the sky was really blue. That's because your wind flow is coming from the deep tropics. There's no pollution down here. It's not like it's coming off land where you get all this dust. You can clearly see where the cold front is set up here. You see the line here that delineates where the cold front is, where the winds are coming in from the southeast here, and they're coming out from the northwest there. Now this cold front is going to pretty much hold sway close to where it is now until Arthur passes, because he's acting like the traffic cop right now. Really, he's the strongest player in the field there. He's the bully per se. So until he moves up past Cape Cod, this cold front here is going to be very slow to move. And as Arthur comes in, it'll throw some tropical moisture in here, and this whole area here will, be game for some heavier showers and thunderstorms. Go to our water vapor loop. And as we can see, a well-defined eye in the water vapor loop there. Nice tight eye. Getting close to landfall here. Gonna probably make landfall in the next couple of hours. And then go into Pamlico Sound, and then come back out here late tonight. You can also see up north here, again, enhanced cloud tops. Really heavy thunderstorms going on here in the southeast New York and Connecticut, Massachusetts, New Hampshire. And all this energy over here has got to swing up and through later tonight and tomorrow morning. So good times. As the weekend goes on, though, as soon as the storm passes, you see all this dark blue here. This is dry air. And we're going to enjoy that on the weekend. Excuse me, Saturday and Sunday. It'll be very comfortable to be outside. I just want to give you a quick view of the visible satellite before the sun went down. Excuse me again, as you can see. Arthur initially came really close to making landfall at this little tip here that jutted out, but it actually bounced off and went a little to the east, took a jog, which hurricanes often do to avoid land. But now it's correcting back the way it's, was originally the trajectory it was going. And the National Hurricane Center plot for where it's going to come inland and be, at about 2 in the morning looks to be spot on at this point. And then tomorrow afternoon at about 2 o'clock, excuse me again, this should be off the Delmarva here and giving some good rains to southern New England and along the coast. Quick look at the radar. You can see the thunderstorms are kind of winding down a little bit over here with the loss of the heating of the day, but this whole area here is going to recharge. You'll see, like here, things will pop up as this thing moves north and keeps pumping tropical moisture into this stalled boundary here. The rain will fill in as the night goes on. Anyway, that's all I got for now, and maybe I'll be back in the morning and give a morning update. But for now, enjoy the weather. It's the only weather that you got.